What's up with that chick, man, next to you? She's pretty freaking hot.
What is that, the redhead?
Yeah, give me her number. Give me her
it's
number.
8675309, I think.
Jenny, I got your number.
I need to make you mine.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to episode 2 of The Safe House, right there at the bottom of the screen. I am your host, Professional Wrestler Extraordinaire, the best professional wrestler you have never heard of, Kirby Mack. And joining me today on episode 2 of The Safe House is, quite frankly, and maybe a little biased because me and he are really close, but I honestly think he is the best ring announcer ever in the world of professional wrestling. Especially if you never have a job with one of the big companies. And he absolutely should have one. He's the golden voice. So ladies and gentlemen, ER. I don't know if he wants you to know what ER stands for, so I'm not going to go into that.
ER stands for Eddie Rich.
There you go.
My real name.
ER.
Mystery's been broken.
A.K.A. Eddie Rich on episode 2 of The Safe House. I appreciate everybody who watched episode 1. I appreciate your positive feedback. I also appreciate your negative feedback. I also appreciate a lot of you who thought we were shooting on you when we weren't. One more time, I want to go into just real quickly what the 3 points of The Safe House is. Number 1, I want to bring to you guys that you have never heard of, you may never hear of, or you haven't heard of yet. That is the point of this. Once again, Colt Cabana, you have a really great Art of War podcast. Shout out to you. This is my studio apartment. Shane Helms, you have a really great podcast. Shout out to you. This is my Hurricane, but this is the Hurricane. You got it.
In front of the elbow a little bit.
You got it. So that's what I want to bring to you. But you're listening to the Art of Wrestling, and no disrespect. Don't get me wrong. I don't want this to get on the dirt sheets like, oh, you're shooting on Colt Cabana. You listen to the Art of Wrestling, but you're hearing guys you already know, guys you already have heard of, guys you probably may already know their story. I mean, you're hearing a lot of road stories and stories from the inside, but you already know Kofi Kingston. Same thing with Shane Helms. You know, I love Shane's show because it's very opinionated. Shane is not one to hide away from his opinions.
Yeah, but a little bit feelings of handling with him.
I've got an interview tomorrow on the radio, and we're going to touch on the little heat that me and Shane Helms had.
A little text message board.
Yeah, a little text message.
I remember that.
We made up. We're cool now. We both understand and respect.
Smiles and hugs, man. Smiles and hugs.
So what I want to do though is I want to bring you like truth, like realness. See, like my thing is, again, a lot of the times people will go, oh, that guy's bitter because he hasn't made it, or oh, that guy's depressed because he hasn't made it. But no, like what I want to do is I want you to realize, like, I'm not the only guy with this comment or this thought, and he's not the only guy with this comment or this thought. We all collectively share it because we all have the same struggle, we all have the same fight, we're all on the same road. That's the point of The Safe House. It is not a shoot. However, I tell my guests, I say guests. Guest says yes. So we go like this, the conversation. Guest.
I'm not supposed to shoot.
You're supposed to say yes.
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm sorry.
So I say to guest, I say guest.
Yes.
I say, you don't have to shoot, but if you feel the need to really tell how you feel, to tell the truth, and to name people, by all means, please do. I don't want to censor anybody, but I don't want you to be New Jack or Balls Mahoney.
I can't cut myself.
That's my first shoot.
Can't gig.
With that bottle, yeah, probably.
Can I take your dog, like your dog can palm his face and get...
No, Gizmo stays out.
Gizmo stays out.
So what I want to do though is I don't like to get into really the background stories or how you got into wrestling or all that, because quite frankly, if you care about how myself, Kirby Mack, or Eddie Rich got into wrestling, you'll Wikipedia us, if even a Wikipedia page exists for us.
I don't have a Wikipedia page. Just throw that card out there real quick.
One way or another, you'll find out. I mean, pretty much, if you get down to the brass tacks of it, all wrestlers got into the business the same. I liked it when I was a kid. I got trained by Big Bruder Bumbo and took my bumps, and now here I am. So I mean, it's not interesting. Gizmo, get out of that bag. It's not for you. Thank you, buddy.
Boy.
Get up here and say hey to the peeps. Peeps, hey. Look, we're boring them already. Get down, buddy. Okay, so
Spotlight stealer.
what I do want to say though is just like briefly, just give me a background of Eddie Rich. Explain to the people who don't know who Eddie Rich is, and I know who Eddie Rich is.
He knows me better than my own actual blood brother does. He just actually found out that I actually had a blood brother not too long ago. It was a complete shock to him. I guess saying yada story wrestling fan. Oh, since I was wee tall, yada yada. I want to get into it.
Now, well, let me ask you this: did you when you obviously like wrestling at a young age? You watched it, you followed it. It's no surprise, and this isn't a joke, but he's a big fan of Disco Inferno. When you decided to get into the wrestling business, did you decide to come into the wrestling business as a wrestler, or was it always an announcer?
It was going to be as a wrestler. I remember as a kid, this is touching on Disco Inferno, I used to go on to the old WCW chat room that was, I don't know if it was that part of AOL or some kind of Turner thing, but everyone who was a WCW fan used to go on there because like Mark Madden and Bob Ryder, all of them used to get on there. And the screen name was Disco Inferno ER, because sadly everyone thinks I'm joking when I post my Twitter thoughts crap and all that
Sure.
about me wanting to see Heath Slater versus Disco Inferno. Right. I'm dead serious because I love Disco Inferno. I mean, the Chartbuster, man, that was the
I don't know what it is, but
Steve Austin ripped them off. The Chartbuster came before the Stunner.
Ooh, first shoot.
It came first. And also the mastermind of the Last Dance submission hold, what Disco had to do, it was such a complicated, complex move that Disco would have to bring a cheat sheet out to the ring and lay it out before he applied it. Which that is a great gimmick to steal because no one else has done it, because Disco Inferno is a trendsetter, pioneer.
Speaking of a great gimmick, and trust me guys, you're going to need to really closely follow this because we're going to be all over the place just because we're that close. It's JD and Turk.
He's not gay in our eyes.
Speaking of a great gimmick though, how great was Boomer Payne's gimmick tonight? Boomer Payne is Boomer Payne. All right, maybe he'll be on the safe house, maybe he won't.
Yes.
You haven't heard of him, trust me.
I love Boomer Payne.
He does this gimmick where he gets hit, boom, he's selling, he's out. Then all of a sudden music plays over a loudspeaker. Next thing you know, this guy, he's on the ground and he's Bernie Lomax and he's up.
He's up.
He's weak at Bernie's, he's up. Then he gets hit with another finish. Boom! Music still plays, he's up. He's up. He's weak at Bernie's stomach. It was the greatest. It was good. Anyway, so we're a wrestling fan and we want to get into wrestling. I'm sorry, did you say as a wrestler?
Yeah, actually, it was speaking of Boomer Payne. Boomer Payne was the one who trained me. And basically, it was I found it online that there was a place up in Spartanburg, same place a lot of guys around here come through. It's American Pro Wrestling, ran by Chief J. Eagle.
And we've talked about that recently.
Whitney, is it Whitney Road, Whitney Boulevard, whatever. It's across from the old Crap Shack KFC in Spartanburg. That's basically where everyone's mom. If you are anybody in the Southeast, you've got to at least once go through APW because everyone's mom has been.
Just check it out.
It's literally this place. I mean, there's a lot of horrible talent. There's a lot of up and coming talent. And in all honesty, in the locker room, it used to be an old abandoned grocery store. I remember there's this back door in the basically Boomer Payne was again who got me into it. We had what was called like the VIP locker room, and the VIP locker room that was like there was the inside joke of all the guys just up on the higher end of the card, yada yada. They used to change separately away from everyone else.
Sure. A locker room, B locker room.
Exactly.
Like Omega version 2.0. Not 2.0. Not Matt and Jeff's Omega.
Yeah. But there's this back door in the A locker room, and it kicked open to this backside, and I guess at the backside that's where if you wanted to. Nah, forget it. If you want to smoke up,
alter your mind.
I was going to hold that back. But if you wanted to touch on different things, that's where you went.
It's a great way to put it.
Exactly.
Touch on different things.
But it was back there, that little back room where myself and this kid, awesome little high flyer, Jamie Lee, used to be around here in a tag team called ADD. It was him and Manshot. Me and Jamie Lee we basically went on an adventure one time. I think it was like intermission. Jay Eagle runs like 24 matches each night. You start at 8 o'clock, you get done at 2 a.m. So there's a little bit of downtime in between.
It's like CZW.
Yeah, pretty much. Except for it's the APW arena is a little bit nicer than the ECW arena, just a little bit. That's me cockroaches.
But CZW has talent.
CC does, it does have talent. APW, it comes together. Okay, so anyway, we kicked through this back door and we went to explore because this building used to be an old grocery store. There's human feces in the back, and can I cuss or should I hold back?
It's YouTube. Just cuss, but not too much.
Bleep it
say
off
what you want to say, but not too much.
Well, to quote Jamie Lee, he goes back there. He said, "There's shit. That is human shit in the floor, and it blew our mind because literally it looked someone, I don't know if it was a homeless person, I don't know if it might have been a wrestler, it might have been DL Cool, went back there, dropped his drawers. Hey man,
oil my back.
Can I push up you? Shake my back first and put some baby lotion on, brother.
Oil your back.
Come on, brother.
All right, so people poo on the floor.
Evidently, you grabbed in the bathroom. The running gag was you could use the bathroom and not touch, not wash your hands, and you'd be cleaner coming out than trying to use the water in there. But anyway, it's a good place. It's a great starting place. A lot of people went through. But that's where I went through my training, and it was basically myself, you know, for
your phone?
Was it your phone or your phone?
No, it wasn't my phone.
It might have been my phone.
Does your phone make sounds?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as it wasn't a video camera. So
no, it sounded like, yeah.
Okay.
I should have put it on silent, my bad.
You're okay.
But it started out being a wrestler. There was a group of 10 guys in there, and we all went through. I think it was every Tuesday and Thursday, if I remember correctly. It was
the training camp.
The training camp.
Okay.
It was guys like Boomer Payne.
We use that term loosely.
Yeah. Boomer Payne, Steve Chronic. Steve Chronic's probably someone else you never even heard of. Steve Chronic got his name from he wrestled with Brody Ray Chase at Brody's old WWC up on Haywood Road. Steve got his name was because one time he tried jumping over the ring, he fell, busted his ass. Hey, guess what? There's a gimmick for you. You're gonna do that every night. But Steve left Brody's, wanted to try to get recreate himself. Steve's a hell of a worker. I mean, granted, he never got the respect I believe is what he should have. He was very bland.
Sure.
He was a bald guy, pale white, wearing black trunks.
Typical bald guy.
And a pile driver was his finish.
Yeah.
That was about it. He had a little chin, he had a little soul patch like Billy Ray Cyrus from Hannah, Montana.
So we're first starting at Eagles. We're training to be a wrestler. Do we have a match? Do we have any matches under our belt?
There was the only actual match that I ever did at J Eagles was I was waiting for my ring gear, highspots.com. It was going to take such a long time, I think, for my ring gear to actually come in. And at the time, he was running the show at Ground Zero. Ground Zero is the horrible nightclub in downtown, not really downtown.
It's not Ground Zero anymore. It's called the Maze, but
really, it's not
yeah,
Ground Zero.
It's definitely changed.
Is it like all the Juggalo crap and
it's still ICP, Fago, blah blah blah.
Yeah. But anyway, so he was going to have a show out there, and he wanted me to ref. And he said, he came up to, "Hey brother, I got this great." This is Chief J Eagle, by the way. He said, "Hey brother, I got this great idea for you. I want you to win the Hardcore Championship match."
Oh no!
And I was like, "Awesome! I'm gonna do the business. I'm a mark. Yeah, put a belt on me. Woo! It's awesome." And so I beat a referee while I was in the referee outfit.
Okay.
And he said, "All right, brother, we're going to do the WWE thing. It's going to be 24/7 rules. I want you to go up there to Bill Hazelwood, and Bill Hazelwood's going to clothesline you, and he's going to win the belt from you."
Bill Hazelwood.
Bill Hazelwood.
An announcer.
It was also an announcer. My sworn into me, that son of a bitch.
Out of his mind.
Yes, he's crazy. Absolutely insane. He steals my spots, or not my spots, my jobs.
Right.
Here. But anyway, so that was that wasn't even the first wrestling match. It was Ground Zero. It was fun to get the hang of it, and so, but at the same time, I was still training, yada yada yada, waiting for the gear to come in. And the same token happened. A southeastern announcer by the name of Danny Paris used to always come. Danny has been around forever,
until like a year ago. Like I would always get like -5-star match by Kirby.
Well,
but his opponent gets +5.
Well, Kirby was coming off the top rope with a reverse moonsault. I don't know what he'd call that, but he did it poorly.
Senton.
The Senton. It's kind of like Will Ferrell doing a Harry Carey impersonation. That's pretty much how Dan Paris speaks.
Minus the talent.
Minus the talent of
okay.
Harry Carey. So anyway, so Danny Paris was sick one evening, and Chief J was going, "Hey brother, I ain't got a ring announcer. Do you think you can do it for me?"
And you're the hardcore champion at this time.
I lost off to the other ring announcer.
Okay.
So when I was like, "Yeah, cool," Bill Hazelwood didn't show up. Dan Paris is out. And good old Charlie Babb, for those of you true...
who's dead, right?
Who's now dead.
He's dead, right?
God rest his little soul.
Little Catholic
little drinky winky for old Charlie Babb.
Drinky winky for old Charlie Babb.
So anyways, let me get a camera shot here for a second.
Holla! And he's back.
So, all the announcers were gone, and Chief was in a struggle, and he said, "Hey brother, you mind announcing the show for me tonight?" And I said, "Yeah! Awesome! Yeah, cool, I'll do that." And so, yada yada yada, long story later, it was, the guys in the back were so were so impressed. Complimentary. I mean, it was like, I did a good job.
So how did you feel coming off that first announcing gig?
It was fun. It was, to be honest with you, I remember driving the whole way back home because I live in Greenville, South Carolina, as a Spartan, so I had about maybe a 45-minute drive. And I was just, I was sitting in the car, just driving on the road, just happy as a jaybird, just doing ring introductions.
So you never had a thought, though, going into this that, man, I'm a good announcer, I should be an announcer, I've got a good voice.
It kind of hinted at that, and that comes on a little bit later. I was the only guy at Jay's little school that actually stuck with it. There was 10 guys, they all bottomed out, it was just me. I remember they beat the holy hell out of me for graduation night. I got scars on my shoulder from my buddy Boomer Payne and another guy by the name of Doc Love, who used to be a tag team called Lethal Injection with his brother Doc Feelgood up in the North Carolina area. They busted blood vessels in me. I got Boomer's thumbprint right here on my chest.
Last time anyone think it's fake.
It's fake. Yeah, I go home and I've got blood coming out of my chest because they busted me wide open.
Right.
Congratulations, kid! You just graduated training. So it was fun. I was the only guy to do that. A lot of guys were very supportive. They said, hey, stick with it. You're doing good. Of course, like every other person starting off, hey, all the green guys suck. And I was the bumper of my class because everyone else either sat on their ass or kind of just like did the little roly-poly thing, and I about knocked myself out because I laid in the back of my head.
So you do your first announcing gig just to fill in.
Just to fill in.
The guys are very complimentary. You're feeling on a high. You're driving home. You're like, man, I could actually do this. Do we go straight into the announcing from that?
Pretty much, because at that point, that's when, and this is basically when I got ready to leave APW, because really, I was about 6 months into the business. Just kind of doing announcing, here and there, fumbling around, yada, yada, yada. 6 months as in my training included in that 6 months. And all of a sudden, Viper from HBW,
first guest.
He runs a show 30 minutes up the street, up in Hendersonville. And a lot of the APW guys would go up to Viper's. At the time, Viper ran on Friday nights. Chief ran on Saturday nights. And so they kind of worked together. And so all of a sudden, here was another chance, here's another place. Here I'm green as do shit, suck as a wrestler, but good as an announcer, but here's my chance to
and the boys are
go someplace else.
Sure.
So automatically, here I am, I'm so new, it's like, I'm getting booked.
I'm making it,
I'm making strides. I'm going someplace else already.
Absolutely.
And so at that point, it's like, I'm busting bugs right now.
Right.
So this right here can kind of get put on the back burner right now.
Speed ahead.
I can always go back to that. But right now, Hendersonville wants me. Spartanburg wants me. And so
I'm a hot commodity.
Exactly, yeah. Ego already, boom, right through the roof.
And that's one of the problems, like with the young guys who are talented, who have that untapped potential. And I say that coming from experience myself. And you're a grade A witness because you were there. You were right there with 2005 Kirby Mack, who was
hard times, man, hard times.
and the problem was because, and we'll probably touch on this later. Thomas Simpson, who we all rode with at the time. After every show, when I would drive home with Thomas, it was the entire conversation on the way back was how great I did, how great I was, how great I'm going to be. All these things coming.
You did so well.
It was
that guy you were
it was this, and then it was, TJ, you did okay. But Kirby, and
the journey's over.
When you're 18, 19, 20, and all you want to do is be a professional wrestler.
And you get those compliments coming in, actually. It just feeds the monster.
You make your own monster. Yeah. That's what it was. You made your own monster. So now HBW wants you. You're putting smart run on the back row. So now you're saying, okay, well maybe wrestling isn't a thing because I'm kind of wondering.
I'm going someplace quicker. And at the same token, all of a sudden, going back to the Stray Cat Burger Ray Chase, Brody used to WWC. Brody used to run 3 shows a week. He had a Tuesday show. Tuesday show was like his hardcore kind of adult type show.
Right.
And then he had a Friday show that was his trainings, and Saturday was his main events present. Well, all of a sudden, here comes an offer on Tuesdays.
So now you're getting bookings all across the board.
And so, automatically, they don't pay squat, but it's fun because their Chiefs locker room is totally different than Vipers because there's guys up in North Carolina that don't drive down Spartanburg. But all of a sudden, here's in Greenville, in the early 2000s, right before the wrestling business died, the Monday Night Wars and all that, yada, yada. I remember being a kid, Ric Flair had an autograph signing at the Greenville Mall. after Ric Flair got done, here is the WWC guys, and it is Straight Cat Brody Ray Chase, and Brody. I mean, jacked. He's still jacked up. I mean, in great shape. You had guys like, I mean, here's a name that everyone, like a lot of independent guys kind of cringe over. The Shooter Ronnie Gossett was there. Yep. And I remember being a kid, and sadly I will admit this, I still have Ronnie Gossett's autograph somewhere in a folder somewhere in my apartment right now. Because as a kid, here's this guy. Yeah. You know, I'm a shooter, yada, yada, yada. But at the same token, you know, WWC was bringing the guys at a time, you know, future guys was going to do something. You're talking about like the Jeremy Bangs, the Jeff Lewis's, Shane Black. You had the Boogaloo Crew, J.C. Daz and Scotty Wren.
You had the Voodoo, what the heck was his name?
Voodoo Day.
Voodoo Day.
Still representing Dollar General and Berea.
Worst breath. The world of the world.
Breath of Death was a shoot. That was his finishing move. He was going, and I mean, that was legit. It was the breath of death, and you're done. But so all of a sudden, here's all these guys. But see, you start getting in with the Georgia guys. Those Georgia guys had connection to Wildside.
And we're going to touch on that.
And Wildside was the promised land.
Yeah.
And Wildside, on its empty in days, you know, was still there. And Wildside was replaced with Anarchy. But in the same token, that little transition stage, Wildside was it. In the Southeast, and that was the kingpin.
So now you're an announcer. Now you're full in this as an announcer. You say, this is what people want me as. This is what people are saying I'm good as. This is where my head's starting to kind of grow. I'm an announcer. This is what I should do. Let's take a commercial break, only because I really want to touch on this, and I think this is a good time, kind of just to throw this little gem out there. All right, I'm going to set this up.
Okay.
And then
we're gonna come back. We're gonna beat on it.
Well, I'm gonna set this up, and then I'm gonna hot tag you in,
good Lord.
and you take it from where you're taking it, and then I'll fill in when I need to.
Okay.
Right? So we are going to work a show in North Carolina, I believe, for Steve Carino. We've got a lot of history with Steve. Steve is a great friend of ours. Nothing bad to say about the guy at all. Great guy, amazing talent. Okay. We're gonna go work this show for Steve. So in the car, you're driving.
I'm driving. That was back. I had the.
You had the
Explorer.
You had the. Wait. Don't do this to me. What's the guy's name?
It was Shane Mandrell's.
Thank you. You had Shane Mandrell's Explorer from the Shield.
From the Shield.
Right. All right. So you're driving.
Yes, I'm driving.
Thomas is in the car. Kirby's in the car. Well, that's me. TJ's in the car. My brother. Okay. We're driving to Steve Carino's show. And
where was that at? It was
somewhere in North Carolina.
It was like close to the Outer Banks. It was past there, like past Jacksonville. It was up there, I believe, because it took forever.
Okay, I really don't know. And
I still can't remember that.
It was like an 8-hour drive.
Yeah, it was 8 hours of hell.
We'll just say Elizabethtown. Maybe that might it.
I think it was.
I don't know. So yeah, let's touch on this again. ER's driving. It's an SUV. Thomas Simpson's in the car. I'm in the car. My brother's in the car. TJ. We're helping Steve out because Steve's our buddy. Steve says, hey guys, can you pick up Jake the Snake Roberts? Well, duh, of course we can pick up Jake the Snake Roberts. Now, this was when Jake just went through all his turmoil and, you know, he was seen at the indie shows, he'd pull the snake for using it as his penis.
It was 2 weeks after Ohio, the big...
Where he says that somebody spiked his drink and he said, you want 21? Hey guys, it's me, Kirby. Due to the unexpected length and time of the ultimate Jake the Snake Roberts story, I've actually cut it out of this interview with ER, and I'm going to post it on a separate video, which you can find in the comment box, or I'm going to post a link right here. So go ahead and click on that if you want to hear about the ultimate Jake the Snake Roberts story. Trust me, it's worth your time, but it is in length and it is in detail, and it involves a story about Sonny, it involves possible murder, and it involves a crack rock. So go ahead and check that link out. Right now, we're going to jump back to my interview with Eddie Rich. Thanks. I want to get back into your story. So wrestling didn't go as well as you wanted to. You got into announcing. Announcing went really well. You started getting the bookings. Then all of a sudden, you land Wildside, right? Is that your big gig first?
Yes, really about 6 or 8 months. And a former ring announcer from Wildside / Anarchy named Greg Hunter came by. For some reason, he was friends with like a couple of the guys from Georgia that came up one Saturday night.
Keep going.
That was, you know, from guys from Georgia that dabble in the Wildside, I guess, like the undercard guys or whatnot. And he saw me. He said, "Hey, I don't know if this may work, whatever, yada yada yada. They're moving me to commentary. Would you be interested?" And if you know anything about like the late 90s, early 2000s, Wildside was
it was the
loving stuff.
I mean,
that was
AJ
WCW's
Styles,
love. Shannon, Abyss, Matt and Jeff.
David Young.
And everyone,
it was the ticket.
Everyone came through Wildside.
Anyone who's ever.
Yes.
You know, like Onyx, like you don't really hear about Onyx. You don't know. He was on TNA. You can go back and watch earlier TNA.
Early TNA, not like, I think it's like a fake Onyx now that runs around, but Onyx, his name's Kyle something. But yeah, if it's not Kyle, then it's not the real Onyx.
Alright, so you land Wildside.
It was Anarchy at that time.
Yeah,
Bill Behrens I think, had to sell out because I think he had.
No, isn't Anarchy now?
It's Anarchy now, but even back then, when I started, it was Anarchy. It wasn't Wildside because Bill.
So it was Anarchy, then it went to Wildside.
No, it was Wildside for the longest time, and then I think Bill. That's when Bill had his.
So you would never worked for Wildside?
I never worked for Wildside.
So you came in right when it was Anarchy.
As soon as it became Anarchy, that's why I came in because at the time Bill Behrens, I think, had to sell off his rights.
Yeah.
Because he had something to do with WWE at the time. I think
something, or was it WWE or TNA?
It was either one of the two, but he could not be like a controlling member of another organization because he was going to do something.
Right.
So Bill sold out to a gentleman by the name of Jerry Palmer. Jerry Palmer he's a firefighter. Jerry Palmer is an awesome, awesome guy. You will never find another greater human being on the face of this earth than Jerry Palmer. He's a good guy. And so Jerry had no clue about wrestling. He was a fan. But the booking was taken care of when I got in there by Jeff G. Bailey. Jeff G. Bailey is one of the greatest talents that you have never heard of.
Great entertaining. Great personality.
Exactly. He is a prick. He is an asshole. But I love him to death.
Yeah, Jeff's great.
He is also, he's up front. That's the greatest thing about Jeff G. Bailey. And this is a side story about Jeff G. Bailey because me and Jeff Lewis, name drop, love to tell the story.
Who? I'm sorry.
Yeah. We were up in NWA Charlotte, which was a great place. I'm sure you'll probably.
Oh, we're going to touch on that.
Yeah. So we were in this locker room, and this kid up there. He used to work at HPW by the name of Sin. This little bald guy. I think he lives down in Florida now. He used to paint himself kind of like what Michael Judas paints himself like. And I'm not going to use the language, but Jeff G. Bailey, in the middle of the locker room, this is why I love Jeff G. Bailey. He walks and goes, "Who the F are you? And does Michael Judas know you're stealing his gimmick?" That's how Jeff talks. That's no voice of person. I mean, there's no emphasis on trying to sound anything. That's Jeff, and that's how we sound. And it's classic. Anyway, so the booking was ran by Jeff G. Bailey and Bill Behrens. I think Todd Sexton was running it at the time. Todd Sexton had a lot.
That's when Chad Parham was close to getting on top.
Chad Parham was on his way up. That was the days, and. Yeah, it was like the latter run, like the guy like the AJ Styles, the Abysses, those guys had just came out, and then you had the latter part because you had
Slim J was big.
The Slim J, it was
Tank.
It was when Ring of Honor was still young, and when Ring of Honor wanted guys from the South, they would pull from Georgia,
Anarchy.
They would pull from Anarchy, and so all of a sudden, here I am once again, 6-8 months into the business. Here I am, and being the super fan that I was, tape trading and all that kind of cool shit. All of a sudden, here's those guys and those DVDs from Ring of Honor that I'm on the same show of.
So you get on Anarchy, and I know me and you met Thomas. Was it through a Thomas show? Help me out here. I remember the Wild Wings after, but I don't remember
how I officially met Thomas was one of my very best friends.
I don't know about Thomas. What about me and you? But
Blake Harley.
Was that the same kind of day?
No, it was not. It was through back when Thomas was running his shows that Brody would let him, I guess, come in like once a month in Greenville.
So
that's how I met you because
you were announcing on that show, but then we all went to Wild Wings afterwards.
I don't even think I was announcing on that show.
Okay.
I think Thomas invited Blake. I came with Blake. I sat with Becca and the Beast that shall not be named. TJ's. And I think that was the last year because I think we went down to support Ken Magnum because I think at the time Hernandez from TNA, Hot Stuff Hernandez, was supposed to come in and he was going to work Ken, and Ken was a friend of ours at the time, and we wanted to be there to support Ken because this is going to be his first match because but at the same token, that was I think the first time that Steve came down.
Yeah.
And everyone who knows me, everyone gives me shit about it. I am a Steve Corino fan from when I was a wee little fella in high school. So yada yada yada. So of course I want to go down there and see Steve Corino.
Okay, so that's where we meet you in the kind of the rest of the
exactly. It was yeah, kind of like that. Between me, you, and TJ, I was on that show. It was Thomas just knew me from Blake.
Yeah.
And I guess I kind of tagged along, fed in with it. I mean,
yeah, but also your talent speaks for itself. Like once people hear you announce, like
if I get my foot in the door, I'm not another schmuck.
Absolutely.
And that's me, Barry Horowitz, pat myself on the back.
Barry Horowitz.
Love it. Name drop.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm not another schmuck. Give me a chance.
Okay, so
let me run with the ball.
we're at Wildside now.
Yes. Okay.
And or Anarchy, right? It's Anarchy. We're at Anarchy now, and because of Anarchy now, you've got the exposure and the bookings are coming in.
Yes, and because of that, that's when the troughs with Chief Jay and the home turf of APW come into, because Wildside runs the second and fourth Saturday is the first and third.
And Wildside said, if you want to be our guy, you have to commit to us.
You're done. That's it. And so it's like, all right, done. And all of a sudden, hey brother, you're taking outside bookings, and this is the biggest thing that you've gone through, that I've gone through.
Sure.
Probably 75% of you watch this video, and hopefully someone's watching it, will see is you don't get paid jack on the indies, and then someone's gonna bitch about it when you take a different booking. So you get paid zero.
Like if you're working at company A and they pay you 5, and then company B wants to pay you 15,
go for the 15.
15 it is.
Because I don't know, loyalty doesn't pay your bills.
Yeah.
It's about the money. I mean, because granted, you will spend $50. We need to check the grand story.
Okay.
It's
going to be a long.
Speaking of bills.
Oh my goodness.
It's because you will spend $20 in gas getting these shows.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Like people don't realize, like even promoters or even fans don't realize we have to pay for travel.
Exactly. You know, if that time we were up in Logan, West Virginia.
Oh yeah.
Well, I can't pay the full amount this time.
And here's one of the things,
I'm coming.
And here's one of the things like I want to bring up. Like you are an incredible talent, especially when it comes to your voice. Like I call you the golden voice. Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to your commentator skills, and on par when it comes to your announcing skills. You have an incredible talent, and because we're friends, and also because you have such a talent. Like I would try and get you booked. Promotions that I would go to, like for AWA when I was on there, I would get you booked on that. But like I noticed that, and maybe this is something that you might want to touch on. Like promoters look at announcers very disposable. Like if wrestlers are a dime a dozen, announcers are 25 a dozen.
Yeah.
And I remember being at a lot of shows where we went to where I would get paid in full, but you would get stiff. So like, how's that make you feel? Granted, you don't go out there and risk your body, but you still you still work just as hard, essentially, in your role.
I'm not going to go out there. I won't do a moonsault and have a chance to break my neck. But the thing that always used to get me is I'm spending my gas, my time with family, friends, a social life, everything. I'm still doing it the same as everyone else.
Sure.
Why are you going to shit me over just because I'm speaking? And that was the biggest thing that used to frustrate.
Like maybe the biggest thing too is
you talk
to these guys. Yeah, we'll get to that. Like you talk to these guys a month and a half before you go to these shows, and you say, okay, this is what I charge, and they go, all right, Eddie, you're a good talent. I want you on my, and that's the thing that always gets me. They always go, I want you on my show. I want you to be my guy, so I will pay you X amount of dollars. And then they get there and they go, oh, sorry, brother, I can only do this.
The crowd's a little light tonight.
So let's jump in then real quick to
7 hours to West Virginia somewhere. Yeah.
Like I know the BS and the announcers are 50 a dozen. I know just kind of the disrespect that people treat you, almost as if they treat referees. I know how that burns you out, but like
the biggest thing, announcers are idiots. They are all super fans, and they're all
so they just take you as mark.
Exactly, you're a mark. Because to be honest with you, how many how many announcers do you know actually went through training? How many announcers have actually seriously? I mean, I've set up rings. I got the shit chopped out of me. I've done this. I mean, granted, that's not me, strumming my fiddle by no means. What was Eddie? But I've done more in support. You know, I've burned up the interstates. I've set the rings for no money. Hey, Tyshawn. I love you. I love you. But still.
And again, though, you can ask any of the boys in the business and take it for what it is. I mean, I've very verbally declared my thoughts on Bill Hazelwood. Take it for what it is, but I don't think a lot of the guys like Michael Judas have respect for Bill Hazelwood. But 95% of the boys will tell you that they respect the hell out of Eddie Rich.
It's just, I mean, because
I mean, they will.
I was trying my best back when Hermie Sadler had the TNA house shows.
I missed those so much.
They were good shows. I would show up constantly. I'd be in full suit, ready to work.
We would too.
Yeah, exactly. We want to put our best because here's the Indie J-Brons with up there with Bubba Ray and D-Bog. You had Scott Steiner. You had the Motor City Machine Guns.
Sanjay Dutt's on the show. Jay Lethal,
Triangle and all those guys. And here's our schmoes getting put on the same shows. With me, I wear a full suit like, please let me announce, please let me announce, please let me announce. But to try to earn myself on that spot, I'm in a full flipping suit and I'm sitting up that damn six-sided ring.
Setting up a ring in a
six-sided ring sucks.
Yeah,
it's the worst thing to do. I hate a six-sided ring.
So
in a suit.
So at this point, and let's just call a spade a spade. At some point in your career, you are the voice of the Southeast.
Yes.
You are requested, you are wanted everywhere. From the AWA, from Dalgania, from Georgia with Wildside, from South Carolina, CWA, from with Tyshawn, from with Thomas Simpson shows. Anywhere that wants an announcer, the first name that comes to mind is Eddie Rich.
Eddie Rich.
Okay.
That's me.
Then all of a sudden, JD Costello opens up NWA Charlotte. And NWA Charlotte it's great. I'm not gonna lie.
NWA Charlotte was
amazing.
This is not a knock. I mean, because I work for a lot of places and I had fun everywhere. For the most part, I had fun. I don't want to over exaggerate that. NWA Charlotte, when you walked in that locker room, the first building, not the Metro. Was it the Metro Land?
Yeah, the one where Evo.
But anyways, but the first building, the one that JD and Jay worked their butts off to put together. It looked like the ECW arena, except one a lot nicer, two a lot cleaner. It was amazing, the setup that I had in there. And you walked in that locker room, it was the best of the best.
He actually did, yeah.
Jay and JD were going to throw out all nonstop. I mean, they're throwing out money, they're doing everything. I remember myself, Jeff T. Bailey, who, once again, the whole sort. Michael Judas, and I think it might have been Phil Shatter. We're standing around, or
AKA Gunner.
We're standing around, and it was like, this is the best of the flipping best.
And the pay was good at first.
The pay was good at first, and with the Carolinas and Georgia, if you were someone, if you had an ounce of talent, if you had anything
on these shows,
you wanted to be on NWA shows. They booked Raven,
it was the
and they didn't even advertise Raven. They wanted shock value. Screw trying to pull people in for Raven. They wanted to Raven pop up.
I mean, it was shot. It was the production value.
I mean, you were in major league setting.
So you are the it factor as far as announcers goes for a while. NWA Charlotte runs. They want you. Eddie Rich is who we want.
Done. I'm good. Let's go.
They say I want you for every show. They're going to pay you X amount of dollars.
And what it was, I think NWA Charlotte, because I used so much of Anarchy's talent, I think Anarchy ran on the first and third. JD was the second and the fourth.
Right.
So there's every Saturday of the month, booked between two places.
So
that's a lot of traveling from Cornelia, Georgia.
With Anarchy and with NWA Charlotte booking you, at first, are you burned out or are you still good to go?
No, good to go.
You're still good to go. You're still good to go.
At that point, it was...
And even at this point, too, he's still doing Greg Price's NWA Fan Fest.
Awesome experience.
For years in a row. I mean, not only he's announcing the matches, he's announcing the meet and greets, he's announcing at 2 o'clock you have to eat dinner with Dean Malenko. I mean, he's announcing all of it,
Basically, we'd go to bed like 4 o'clock in the morning, we'd get done drinking and partying and everything, and we'd be up by 7 or 8 to report back downstairs to the main ballroom because the show don't stop for nobody.
Okay, so let's put it this way: we're doing Anarchy on the first and third Saturdays.
Yep.
We're doing NWA Charlotte on the other 2 alternating Saturdays. We're doing a fan fest when it comes around.
When it comes around once a year in August.
We're doing CWA, we're doing Tyshawn, we're doing for Thomas, we're doing anybody else who tries to book us.
Exactly.
So we're booked solid, right?
Friday, Saturday,
so things are going good, right? You're feeling great.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you're feeling good, you're on cloud 9, you're like, hey, I am the it factor. People want me.
It goes
What
through the
happens?
roof. It became, the economy sucked.
When and I'm going to be honest here, when the economy was good, it was good. Like when me and my brother worked shows for Hermie Sadler, when we did the TNA house shows at first, and then it just went to the UWF stuff, like literally I bought the car that I drive now. It was a 2003 Toyota Matrix XR edition. I bought that in cash, full, off of money that I just made from Hermie Sadler shows. That was extra income from the already money that I was working for 40 hours a week, you know? So when the economy was good, it was good. And then when it tanked, nobody wanted to pay.
Exactly. And to be honest with you, I will absolutely say what I got paid. Everyone's like, oh, hush about it. I don't want to know. I was the most expensive ring announcer you could buy.
Yeah,
I wanted $100 because it got to the point that I didn't want to come to your show unless you're going to pay me $100. And that was
but he was in that demand that he could do that.
Yeah.
Like even the AWA wanted him to travel to Minneapolis.
Exactly.
Or to Indiana or wherever.
And granted, from a casual fan, really, truly, would you drive to Philadelphia and back in 24 hours for $100?
For a 5-minute spot. I mean,
for a 5 minutes, yeah. Right? Probably no, but like an idiot, yeah, I would.
Like me and my brother, we would always joke about this when we would go to CZW or wherever. We would go to New York and we would work 40 hours a week. We would leave Friday night or Saturday morning. We would drive 12 to 15 hours all the way through. We would get to the building. If we were lucky, an hour and a half before bell time. Sometimes half hour before bell time. We would do the show. We would get in the ring 15 minutes, maybe, mostly 10, and then drive back. So what you're looking at is we would drive all the way up just for 10 minutes in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
just to
get your name out there.
Where people normally plan 4 to 5 days for a vacation to go to Philly. I mean, that's the insanity of indie wrestling. That's what we, as independent wrestlers, do. It's freaking insane.
I mean, one trip that we did one time, we went, I think for some reason, we were in, CWF up in Burlington, North Carolina, had a show on Friday. We did a show on Friday and then up to Philly on Saturday, and then shot back down some other place on Sunday.
I think we shot back down in Georgia for AWA.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and then back home.
Yep.
I mean, so Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you're gone. You're burned up 400 plus miles.
And when a guy is working a normal full-time job 40 hours a week, and then on the weekend, they're spending the majority of their time in a car just to drive, wrestle and drive back, you don't get a time off. It's like there is no weekend.
Yeah, vacation. You just burned up your vacation because you spent 3 days a week on the road.
Let's touch on this now. You are the hot commodity. You are the voice of the Southeast. If someone wants an announcer, they're booking you.
Yes.
All of your weekends are full. You're charging premium price, which granted you should. I mean, I don't knock that.
Doesn't mean I got it all the time. And I know who you are. You're on my list.
And you're about to be disposed.
You will be named.
So things are going well.
Yes.
What is the turning point?
The turning point, it finally got to the point was it wasn't fun anymore. It became a business. And hey, guess what? Indie wrestling don't pay the bills. I mean, it's a hobby. It's a glorified hobby. It's a passion.
Absolutely. Glorified hobby. I like that.
And then when you get down to it, and I'm going to go back to Anarchy, the offspring of Wildside. I'm down there twice a month. My goatee itchy, so I'm scratching it. So, thank you, baby. So anyway, yeah, that's right.
Keep talking. Just keep talking.
My legs are
just keep talking.
Just jiggle, man. All right, let's go. So anyway, so you're down there, and all of a sudden it's no job is worth. Say, Anarchy wasn't going to give me $100 a night. Anarchy was based off of you're working for Anarchy. You should be happy you're going to work for Anarchy.
Exposure. We're
going to pay you this for Anarchy because at the time Anarchy still had their syndication, which I never saw. I mean, I got tape. I gave Jeff G. $5 for a VHS tape, which I still have a lot of. It became a job, and I got down there, and I don't want. And this is going to be the hashtag real talk that Marcus K. Dowling, who I miss greatly.
And KD, I love you,
I miss you. That's a name that no one understands. But we miss you. exactly.
That was it.
Yeah, we're done with it. So anyways, there was a clique down there of the Georgia boys. If you weren't from the original Wildside, you're an outsider.
And I can back that up because me and my brother would go down there occasionally because Bill would book us. And
it's
like there was some guys where we kind of felt, and then there was other guys who just looked at us like, "Who the hell are you?"
Here's my favorite Anarchy handshake. Say you're me, come up and shake my hand. I'm some other guy. I am so.
You have eyes in the back of your head. That's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, I'm not from the state of Georgia. My bad, guys. I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, and moved to South Carolina. I'm sorry. Actually, it's Philadelphia.
Bang, bang, boom.
That's my lying game.
Juniper and Mifflin.
But yeah, we have an open flip on there. So anyway, we get that feeling, and it's like you automatically feel unwelcome there.
Okay, but why is it all of a sudden a job, and why is it all of a sudden?
Because
was it the stress?
It was the
the
stress.
Pay, or
because I remember, and this is going to be another name drop, Scotty Wren. I love Jason Justice.
Sure, absolutely.
And Scotty Wren, hopefully one day will be on this.
No, he will. I've talked. He'll be on here.
Because I love this. He is another brother from
Scotty will be on here, and Scotty's got a lot to say.
I heard Scotty Wren make a comment one time while we were down there after. He said, "Brother, you are at the WrestleMania of the South." Speaking of hardcore hell. Mm-hmm. And it really was like, you're effing kidding me. This is another indie shade of me.
This is it?
This really? And I mean, not because I wish I had the passion for the company.
At that time.
At the time, those guys.
Why didn't you? What happened? Was it the clique? Was it what?
To me, it was cliquish. I was an outsider. There was guys. To me, it was three guys in our little group. It was me, Brandon Phoenix, and Jeff Lewis.
So was it that you were just an announcer? And like people just looked at you as a guy with a microphone?
Sort of that, but at the same token, John Johnson, who was a co-commentator, he was another guy with a microphone. But then again, he was there at Wildside. He was there, and so during the time there, I don't know. I always felt like an outsider since day one. Like they did not.
Right.
That I was not good enough to be in the locker room.
Here's the thing. Like, explain to me. I'm a wrestler, or a sports entertainer, sorry Vince. I've paid my dues, I've taken my bumps, I went through training, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the back, I'm in a company that I helped build. You come through, you're just a guy with a mic. You're just a guy who says, here's Kirby Mack, right?
Yeah.
How does that feel? Because like, even though there are some people who look at you like, oh, Eddie Rich, he's a great guy, I love him to death. Yeah. There are other guys who's like, hey, he's just a freaking announcer. Like,
wait, exactly.
How's that feel? Because like, what people don't understand is, everyone in the show is crucial. From the announcer to the referee I had tonight at HVW versus Brady Pierce was a great referee. I believe his name was Mike Johnson. He was incredible.
It was like Sonny Barrio.
Yeah, but the problem is like, the referee is the third guy in the match.
Exactly.
And if he knows what he's doing, even better. We're all part of the show. So explain to me how it is. Like, okay, just an announcer.
Yeah, it was going back. Blake Arledge, a good friend of mine. He said this because, and I'm sure you'll probably touch on.
Blake.
We love you, Blake. Viper,
eat more chicken.
Viper. I smile.
W-O-R-N.
So anyways, Viper, I think at one point had heat with Blake because Blake was going to go shoot another show. Blake's a photographer. And
RingsidePhotos.net.
RingsidePhotos.net. I don't even know if he still exists. I don't think Blake has done a show in probably since the Matt Hardy show. But it was
more chicken.
Eat more chicken, Blake. Viper's comment, didn't mean to use a shoe name. It was cameramen or a dime a dozen. And Blake said, yeah, you're right. Cameramen are a dime a dozen, but a good one's going to cost you a quarter. And that is the motto. That's the motto I took as the ring announcer. I said, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be some dipshit like Bill Hazelwood go out there and make midget jokes in front of a live crowd and act a fool. I want to be serious. I want to do this. Basically, to be honest with you, I want to do a job.
And if I can interject myself here, and I've been on record and saying this in tweets and social media when I've been on a show with Bill Hazelwood. Like Bill,
I like Bill as a person.
Bill, you're an okay guy, and you've got a really good voice as an announcer. But my problem with Bill is you try to become the show. Like a good announcer.
Dawn Marie. You're a heat stealer. You Dawn Marie everything.
A good announcer has the voice that when he says Kirby Mack, people go, wow, that's Kirby Mack.
And then you back the shit away.
Yeah, but a bad announcer is the one that goes, Kirby Mack, Kirby Mack, I seen him cleaning my pipes the other day. Hey, you want a free t-shirt? Oh, you're too fat. Don't make yourself part of the show. You're an announcer. You're not supposed to be part of the show.
Exactly. And once again, announcers get that bad rep. Really, too, I think if you need to be in the wrestling business, it does not matter if you want to be a manager, an announcer, or a referee. You should at least take your bumps. You should at least do your 10-10-10s. You should at least do everything. You should run the rope.
To understand.
To understand. You should be able to grasp the concept. You should be able to know what the guys that could possibly break their neck, you ought to be able to know what they're feeling when you're hitting them. I mean, I'm no patron saint by no means, but you should at least have some kind of an idea in your mind.
Okay.
And it's not that I want to go to Forest City, North Carolina, and I'm an announcer, I'm going to throw, Derek Ryan's out of the ring, tee-hee-hee. Yeah, and that's not a shoot, that's just a little side comment. One, know your place, you're an announcer. You don't buck up to a wrestler.
That's it.
It don't matter if it was, and one of the things, I'm going to touch back to Anarchy. One of the things in Anarchy, they always tell me when I'm introducing the mid-ring, because on the hard cam, I need to back up, because when guys, here, I'm going to stand up for a second, just to show it, for instance, when Slim J comes in the ring, Slim J's right here on me, right here at the top camera level. I am the flipping giant. I need to back up. So Slim J, who is an awesome freaking talented performer, does not look like the micro machine.
And I'm gonna go exposing here. For those of you who don't know, because you can't see, if you watch the announcers like Josh, I think his name was Josh Matthews on
yes.
When he's interviewing Rey Mysterio, when he's interviewing John Cena, he's standing like this.
You do what's called the Scott Hudson
When he's interviewing Rey Mysterio,
he's doing a half split. Scott Hudson
Rey Mysterio.
Scott Hudson was like 6'5". Scott Hudson used to go bow-legged to do the interviews. You have to do the Scott Hudson shuffle to create believability.
Right.
And it's not, I don't want to, if the fantasy of wrestling, the wrestler's supposed to kick somebody's ass. The wrestler is supposed to be better than the average fan out in the crowd, and you don't want some moronic ring announcer with a chip on his shoulder, bowing up. I've been, kicked in the webbles and dropped by guys named Princess Bubbles in a tutu. I had some wrestling regular personality this evening throw me into a cage and sumo squash me.
And you sold it.
Yeah, you sold it because that's your job.
That's your job as a ring announcer.
Exactly.
Right,
You're not the show.
So let me come to this. So, if I remember correctly,
it's like a bitch fest. I feel good about doing this. I enjoyed it. It is
therapy, and that's what I try to explain.
You get all this crap on me.
Okay, so you were doing Anarchy, you were doing NWA Charlotte at the same time, and if I remember correctly, when I finally got on to NWA Charlotte, didn't you drop Anarchy by that time? And it was kind of letting you go to break?
Yes, because what it was, I had had enough of Anarchy. I walked up to Jerry Palmer and I said,